and this is J.P. Meadows, and we are very thankful for you all being here tonight. This has been a long time waiting, and we're just very appreciative that you have braved the cold to come here tonight. The way tonight is going to work is we're going to be accepting questions. The purpose of tonight's meeting actually is right here. To inform the school district community, the DeKalb community, of the upcoming needs assessment that we will be implementing, and also to obtain input from the community on possible questions or topics to ask. So we have a number of cards. Who has cards? Someone has the cards. Our Andrea in the back has cards. And what we would like for you to do is, while we are going through the PowerPoint, which will take 20 minutes, we would like for you to write down questions that you have for us so that it can be a little bit organized. Did you want to say anything?
No, that's all. One of the things that we're here for tonight is not venting, literally inquiring. And so, in order to do good research, like we're going to be doing in your community, we need to make sure we're asking the right questions. And so that's why we invited you here for this opportunity. Because you need to help us make sure we're framing our surveys as well as our focus group questions, so that they're going to be most productive. Again, we really appreciate your help.
It's not working.
It was working.
It was working, just like you said in the close.
Time that.
Sure thing.
Thanks. Okay, so the process for tonight. We have created several slides for us just to give us some understanding of what's happening in DeKalb School District. And then there's a handout. Does anyone know where that handout is? It was the it was with the process, there was our bios on one side and the process the other.
I don't have that.
Oh, and Jenny didn't get to?
No.
Okay, we'll do. All right, and then, so then we'll be listening questions at the end to do this. Okay. So, demographics of School District 428. I think I'm in your way. This is for the last 5 years, and 4 years, and from 2012 to 2016. And if you can see, the white population has gone from 58% to 50%. And as that's going down, everyone else's population is going up. So, for example, the black population has gone from 14 to 18%, and the Hispanic population has gone from 21 to 26%. So this is when you start seeing the flip like that, certain people start getting concerned, and to say it nicely. And what happens is people start getting really nervous. They don't know, people don't oftentimes know how to deal with diversity. And so when you start seeing the populations go in those opposite directions, people start getting a little ill at ease. Low-income students went from 50 to 57%. That's huge. To have in just 4 years, that's a really, really big jump. Graduation rates, we have 4-year and 5-year graduation rates. Now, it's 86% for the state, and so our white population is doing well, 91%. But everyone else, except for NH, is doing well, also 100%. But the Black and Hispanic students are not as doing as well as the state average. So this is a point of concern.
And you might want to frame the question that says, why is this? Okay. And this could be the type of thing that we then follow up on, and could be then part of the diversity plan to be able to address that issue. Okay. So again, you see the symptom, raise a question, please write that question down and submit it to us so that we have that reflected in our survey and in our focus groups. Again, the idea is asking the right questions so we can provide the answers to the school so that they can help make the policies and procedures to address the issues that you see. So dropout rate, again, the comparison between the district and the state. And you can see that it's not that out of line, okay? But obviously, the best dropout rate would be no dropout. Okay? So there's still an issue here, but certainly not egregious.
So in terms of ELs, English language learners, in 2012, there were, out of the whole student body population of DeKalb is 6,100 students. And there were 503 ELs in 2012, and they made up 8% of the student body. That was in 2012. Now, English learners make up 11% and at 805. So they've gone up 300 students in just 4 years. That's a lot of kids. And when you have teachers who don't know how to, who do not have their ESL endorsement, they sincerely do not know how to work with English language learners. So this is a concern, right? We need to be, this would be a concern for all of our students, all of our teachers, that all of our teachers need to have their ESL endorsement. So because English learners are across the district now, they're not just specific classrooms, they're throughout the whole district. So we need to know how to work with them. The college ready, 47% of graduates are considered college ready. 47%, and 46% across the state. So we are beating the state average, but think about it for a second. Only 47% of our graduates are considered college ready.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
And what is used to determine that? Is that the state?
It's 21 on the ACT, essentially. Yep.
Which the state and district no longer give.
Well, this is from the ISB website. It's the state report card. So the state doesn't give it, well, we'll stop giving it soon. But yes, this is current right now.
So isn't that advertised? That was the park.
No, the park test, no, it's not the park.
Okay, so this is looking at disciplinary actions and again by race, and we'll also look at it by gender and by social class, freedom to reduce lunch. And again, you're looking at the most current data, 2015-16 data. And a couple of things that you need to kind of make sure that you're adjusting your eyes to, so to speak. And that is, ideally we're dealing with percentages of total population. So, for example, if the total population for white students is 48%, then we should expect that disciplinary action should correspond to that. Okay? So if it's under that, then that would be underrepresentation, over that would be overrepresentation. Okay? And again, that's an ideal, it's kind of a benchmark that you can look at to see if the data is skewed in any way. And so kind of keep that in mind as we look at this data. And I think you can clearly see here that you have 408 incidents that represented for the quote-unquote white population, 26%, okay? But yet they make up 50% of the student population. So discipline for white students, we would say that it's underrepresented. Okay, that track, does that make sense? Excellent, very good. So for black students, you have 768 incidents, or 49% of all incidents are occurred within black or African American students, but yet they only make up 18% of the student population. So clearly, this is overrepresentation. So obviously, we want to flag this. This would be an area of concern, and you should be writing questions. We need to know, why does this phenomenon exist? And it could be for a lot of different reasons. Right? And that's, of course, why we're going to ask those questions, is to try to find out what is it that triggers this overrepresentation and discipline action for African American students. Make sense? Okay. For Hispanic students, 357 incidents, and which makes up 23% of the total disciplinary actions. And the Hispanic population is 26%. And so you actually have slight underrepresentation there, which is a positive. Asians, not very many. Biracial, again, we deal with very small ends here. So they're, one can say, they're fairly negligible. Okay, so the largest concern here, obviously, would be the African American population.
So before you go to the next, I have a question.
Yes.
The earlier slides didn't mention, unless I missed it, American Indian.
Yeah, there's only a few, let's see, I don't know.
Yeah, 0.5%, so not very many students. And there were no disciplinary actions reported for that group in this year.
Well, I'm saying I didn't see the other statistics, but because of
Just like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's because of the emphasis.
So because they're so few, the fact that they are actually making up 0.5%, they make up 0.5% of the population, but they have 20 incidences. That's crazy.
well, I agree with that statistic. I'm concerned. I guess my question, and I know you guys write it down, is why aren't they included in the other?
Because there's so few of them. There's only there's 0.5%, so that's, yes, I should have put them in that slide. Yeah.
So again, we're still looking at discipline and just kind of looking by free, reduced lunch versus full pay. And this is the best indicators that schools have for social class. There's nowhere that data is collected in any other kind of way. So this is traditionally used in that manner. Yes?
Is there anything being done to address that incident proportion ratio for black kids to their counterparts, since they're all of a sudden they only make up 18%, but they appear to be the most incidents? Is there any investigation being done, or y'all just taking the teacher's word for it?
Well, that's exactly what we're here to do now, is that we are going to make that kind of investigation. We are going to ask those kind of questions.
I have a situation with my daughter now, Alta Elementary, right now.
Okay.
Would you like to hear about it?
Actually, tonight we're not interested in those stories, but right after, can you stay for a minute?
Sure.
And yes, and I would love to host.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So back to the data. And again, same number of incidents, but now we're just looking at them in regard to free and reduced lunch. And you can clearly see that there is a skewedness in regards to those students who are free and reduced lunch. So we have 1,177 incidents, that's 74% of all the incidents, and yet that population in the district is only 57%. So that's clearly, again, overrepresentation. And so that's a red flag. And that's something we need to ask questions about to find out why that phenomenon exists as it does. Okay, so please write questions if you have them about that particular statistic. So, of course, the other side of that is then that those who sort of full pay, the number of incidents for them is underrepresented. So discipline by gender, again, very interesting, and again, you can clearly see it's very heavily skewed toward males, okay? And they represent 67% of the incidents, and but yet only 51% of the population. So once again, males are overrepresented in discipline. So once again, red flag, question to be asked as to why males are more disciplined than females. Okay? And just a little side note, I just came from a district in which it's just the opposite. Females have more disciplinary actions than males, so it really doesn't depend on the place, okay? The district community that one's in. And we tend to look at that particular as having a lot of trauma. Okay? So it's supposed to be funny. You forget that I said.
So, special education enrollment by race. This is quite amazing because they're actually right on target for the most part. So this is unique. This is one good thing that DeKalb has. It's very good that white population makes up 50% of the population, and yet a student body, and yet they have 52% of the special ed enrollment. 18% are black and 18% of the student body. So that's actually good. Oftentimes you go into districts and they will be skewed all over the place. Yeah, especially for black boys. So the simple fact that this is right on target is all DeKalb people, special ed should be patting themselves on the back because this is a really good thing. Yes, sir.
Hawaiian categories actually native Hawaiians and Islanders.
Yes. Hawaiian and Native Islander, yes. So all the way down, it's pretty equal. So we're good in terms of black race. However, things change a little bit when we get to full pay versus free and reduced lunch. They go from the full pay is they make up 43% of the population, but they only make up 30% of special ed, as opposed to lower SES, lower socioeconomic status, who make up 57% of the population and 70% of special ed. So something's happening there that we need to look into. We don't have the answers, but these are the things that via this needs assessment, we are going to hopefully learn why these incidences are happening. And then of course by gender, males make up 90% of, I messed up that one. They make up, I messed up that one. They make up 65% of the Hispanic population and 35% females. The 9 and 5% are both.
It's about 49, it's probably 49, 50.
Yes, it was 49 and 51, yes. I'm not perfect, sorry.
This district does not have a gifted program, but it does have honors in AP. Okay? And everyone understands AP, advanced placement.
and then honors courses. Okay. And again, very, very interesting here. We just look by race. You can see that it's heavily overrepresented by quote-unquote white students. And note that I always do quote-unquote white because for me, I have difficulty with race. I don't even have race, that I know why it's called the human race, okay? But for disaggregating data, we use census-like categories and stuff, so we do make this category. Okay? So, forgive me for my always doing that with race. So quote-unquote whites make up 74% of those students in honor and repeat classes, but they're just 50% of the population. So clear overrepresentation there. And again, not terribly surprising for this community, given that you're at a university. Okay? I've spent a lot of years in the phone, and you would find that same kind of comments. However, African American students or black students only make up 6% of the honor students, while they make up 18% of the population. So again, clearly underrepresented in terms of access, it appears, to taking the opportunities to get into college and classes. Flag there, questions on the others. In this concentration, it's not clear cut. Okay, and so this is why you have to ask good questions. Because I've been in communities, I've been doing this work for over 35 years, and I can tell you that sometimes it has to do with the criteria. Okay? When it gets into honors program or AP classes or into a gifted program, sometimes there are students who have the capabilities but refuse to take the courses, and sometimes because they feel they're missing. And so there's a lot of different reasons working at why you get statistics like this. And what we want to be able to do is talk to the students, talk to the teachers, talk to you now, so that we can get a real good understanding of what's happening in this phenomenon, what's driving this, so that we can do corrective actions, so that we can ensure that any student who has the capability to get into these classes has that opportunity. So that's what we want to do in terms of outcomes, to be able to give to the superintendent, to the board, the information they need so that they can make those kinds of decisions and make sure that all students have equitable opportunities to participate.
Excuse me, in your experience, have you seen that districts that have a more diverse staff have a more diverse honors program?
Sometimes not. There's a general belief that if the faculty reflects more the students, that you get higher achievement. Not necessarily so. And sometimes it has to do with who the teachers are. If there's a class divide in the teachers, i.e., if most of the teachers are middle class and they're dealing with lower class children, sometimes they don't have the skills, even though they may look like them. Doesn't mean they know how to teach them. So we have to be very careful, about assuming just because you have enough faculty to perform that. Okay?
I think that's something I just read, that districts where, particularly African American districts, where there are African American instructors, African American students engaged in honors programs, and when you look at HBCUs, you tend to see more PhDs and no doubt about it.
HBCUs, the majority of professionals in this country plan. Medical doctors, engineers, architects. So there is a phenomenon there, not necessarily because it translates easily into the case, but it depends on the community. So it's always about what's the context of the community. It's going to tell you more about what the likely outcomes are. So just to give you for example, if we were in a lab, which has a American population and has a significant African American middle class and upper class, and neighborhoods in which you have high SES and you have a lot of African American teachers or teachers of color in the school, the phenomenon you just talked about is likely to occur. So it really does depend on the context of the situation. So with our Hispanic, another question? Sorry.
HBCU for people.
Historically black colleges and universities. So Hispanics, again, 229 students enrolled, they make up 13% of the honor students, but yet make up 26% of the population, so again, clearly underrepresented. Once again, we need to be asking questions as to why this is happening. Asian students perform quite well, and this tends to be characteristic across the nation, although one has to be careful when we talk about Asian, because when you just aggregate Asian, you have a lot of different groups to fit in that category. And what we tend to see is those who come from the developed areas perform much better. Those who come from undeveloped areas, not so much. So it's real apples and oranges there when we're talking about these aggregate labels we have for people. So we have to be really careful when we talk about that. Okay, so again, looking at this in terms of free reduced lunch versus full pay, again, you can see that there is a huge factor that is exposed by disaggregating data in this manner. So out of the 1,759 students, you only have 436 that are free reduced, so that makes up just 25% of those honor students, yet their population is 57%. So once again, you see that social class is a powerful indicator here for opportunity areas, access to these types of programs. And of course, correspondingly, and we have over-representation of those students.
When you look at the information, will you just be looking at this year? So I used to work at the high school, and 10 years ago, their property was there many students. Secondary reduced lunch, that's a big gain from over.
We did look at the data over 5 years, but just for interest in being able to present it to you tonight and to show those. So we do have some trend lines. Oh yeah, professional. Again, when we look at gender, so it breaks out pretty even. Okay, so gender doesn't seem to be a major factor here. So, yes.
As we move forward and further analyze when we get, I wonder, we also look at not just independently free and reduced lunch and then black, but also look at perhaps what those two mean when they're joined together. So if you are both black and receiving food and reduced lunch
Yes.
and a male, what does that mean in our district?
Yes. Absolutely.
So process. The needs assessment process is going to basically go like this. We're holding a meeting tonight. We're holding a meeting next Monday night at the DeKalb Public Library. After the holiday, in January, we're going to come back and we're going to start sending out surveys, and we're going to start doing focus groups. We're going to be doing 23 focus groups. It's like writing 2 more dissertations. It's a lot of work, and yeah, it's a lot of time. So focus groups we'll be doing in every one of the schools. We'll be talking with the administrators, teachers, professional staff, parents, community members, and students. We're going to be conducting several focus groups with students. In fact, the majority of the focus groups will be of students. They're the ones who are experiencing education. They're the ones who should have a very big say in what's going on in this district. Also the teachers.
And they're all
Right.
you know, so they have as anything, but seldom do we actually give them an opportunity to tell us what their experiences. So we're going to make sure we do this.
Would you be asking students that have graduated from the system? I mean, like.
Yeah, unfortunately, that would be more money.
It's supposed to happen all the time.
And I think they're hilarious. I know they're
Well, I'll tell you why I asked.
No, it's important.
Make me feel, right, like I had the best education ever. Then they go and people go, oh, we never spoke to that. And a student who's currently in the system may not understand what comes after that process. So I think there are enough people, enough students that attend NIU and PISH, and maybe some other, cosmetology places that may be able to offer some insight about what they received and what they didn't receive.
Hopefully we'll pick up some that we do community groups with, when we do parents and so forth. If they are lifelong members of the community, they will have, graduated to the school system, so we might be able to pick up some of that. But your notion is absolutely correct. And I'm not sure if the superintendent knows, how well do you keep track of your alumni? Does anybody know?
What was the question?
How well do you keep track of alumni of your graduating students?
Haven't been here long enough to know, so.
They're all on Facebook.
Okay.
And those kind of, we just started the reunion, we had over 100 people come back out of the class.
Some school districts are very meticulous in tracking, how well their graduate students are. Some do not.
We did that, and we did this service. And, in fact, when money came back, non-essential things, that was one of the things that were
So our goal is to do all the surveys and focus groups, analyze the data, write up the report, have it submitted or presented to the school board by May. It's going to be difficult, but that's what we're going to try to do. If we can do it by the summer, that's probably more honest. But our objective, our goal is to do it by May, sometime in May of 2017. After that, JQ and I will work with a group of teachers and administrators and students and to write a diversity plan. Actually, if you look at the mission of the school, of the district, there is in there to have a diversity plan. So we are literally just following the goals and the mission of District 428. And that will probably be in the fall, because that's when all the teachers and students come back to school. And I'm suspecting that won't take too long. Several meetings and some brainstorming and writing. And then we will present that to the school board as well. And then after that, we will be doing professional development for the teachers, administrators, and actually put in there to work with the school board so that everybody is on the same page, everyone understands the same language, everyone understands these main ideas of what are these different phenomena that are existing in our school. After that, the professional development will take several months to do. In fact, it'll probably take, I don't know how long, maybe a year.
Good professional development should never end.
Right. Good professional development should never end, he said. So we'll be doing that for a while. But probably in the fall of 2018, maybe the spring of 2019, we will conduct another survey, a broad survey of the district to learn what the climate, if anything that we've been doing, any of the work that Jacob and I have been doing has had an effect on the students, on the climate of the district.
And we'll be collecting this data. We'll be collecting this data again to see if there's any changes in, it's a representation of the non-classes and special ed, disciplinary services. And hopefully the decisions that are made in the diversity plan that get implemented will allow those numbers to become equitable. Okay? That again is the goal, is equity and excellence. And I think, if you would share this, and I would hope the superintendent and all of you here is, I really do believe all boats can rise when we make good decisions. Oftentimes people say, oh no, what's going to happen here? You're going to be taking away from my child in order to help this child. Well, if you're doing quality education, everybody should be impacted positively from it. Okay? And certainly that's what our aim is to help all ships, all boats rise together. Yes.
No doubt this is well overdue. Has the district provided you with any of the work that has been done in this area previously? 10 or 15 years ago, there was a group of professionals in this community who looked at this, provided the school district with an amazing report and some recommendations. Has that been provided to you all as well?
We've been offered it, and we plan on reading it. We haven't read it yet. Yeah, there's an Alfred Tatum Road report.
Before Alfred Tatum.
Before Alfred. Oh,
Before Alfred Tatum, there was another group. Disciplinary report.
So no, we haven't seen that.
Okay.
Please make sure you get your hands on that.
Absolutely.
Please.
Thank you.
Please.
Thanks. I'll talk to Jamie about it.
One of the significant slides you have is the difference in incidents by race.
Discipline.
Discipline. Is there information, is there categorization of the type of incident and sort of the severity and impact of the incident?
The incidents there, good question. The question was, what the incidences that occurred, what does that mean? They were expelled, to be expelled or suspended or referrals? Yeah, so those three, to be expelled from school or to be suspended from school? Oh, the incident, no. Yeah, we don't, I don't have any access to it.
In terms of the question, is it being disproportionate?
Right, yeah, we don't have access to it.
But that's something we need to address.
The other question I have is the data available by individuals? I mean, we could have a situation where one individual is creating half of the incident.
Yeah.
Does that include that?
Do you know how it's collected? So we
I
didn't
have
ask
this question down.
Here's a newbie here.
How many
Okay.
people have multiple actions?
Maurice?
Do you have any?
Yeah, so, as those incidents are brought in to the dean's office at high school, particularly assistant principal at middle schools or principal at elementary schools, they're typically brought in on a referral sheet in which they're coded with various things. Then they're inputted in Skyward. So within Skyward, I actually go and I can run a report and look at discipline items broken down by tardies or by physical aggression, by disrespectful or insubordination, disrespectful behavior. So we actually can access those and look specifically at those things and then break that data down by again race or by career release.
And I'm sure that's
Class is done at the high school level as we're looking at implementing Senate Bill 100 or public law 099465.
Well, you used to be able to see by student.
Yeah.
So you can see that, so, the person, sometimes that's what we would do, is we would look at those students with the highest incidence to see, okay, what different interventions can we try, or what has been tried
And to speak to that point, currently at the high school, we do have students broken up into 3 different deans. Each dean then leads a student service team in which they're doing just that. They're looking at those students that are high flyers. I will tell you that, within about 80 students at the high school, makes up around probably 60 to 70% of our artists. And so, in using those numbers,
But these are not regarding targets. These are expulsions, suspensions.
We actually have been, my name's Amy Burke, I'm on the Rising Star Committee for our school district. We actually have been breaking down our data all year long, and we have separated it down from repeat offenders to say, and we are still there. But we do have that data from our district Rising Star team. Love to share it. We're getting into it.
Some schools have the capability of even telling you what teachers.
Yeah.
Is that there? Okay. Because obviously that can be very helpful, because sometimes you see skewed numbers by a few teachers and not so many by others.
Can I ask, where are the questions going to come from to constitute the survey itself? Do you have like a general form, or are you going to utilize some of the data, the guides, some of the questions? Really just determine the basic survey itself.
The core of the survey comes from our consulting group, of Academic Consulting for Excellence, and we've been using this institute for 15 years. And we tweak it for each school district that we work with, and we'll be doing the same for DeKalb. There will be a core set of questions that will be asked, and then as you help us generate new questions, they'll be added to that survey. You should also know too, we're going to do a split half, so I don't want to get into all the statistics here. Suffice to say, we're going to take a sample of your student population, for example, the teachers, and then we're going to use that to check internal consistency and be able to look for reliability and make sure that the questions we're asking is what we need to know. And we'll be able to make adjustments. We survey the rest of this population. So I'm going to be very concerned about internal consistency, reliability.
How many participants are involved?
Well, we're going to try to make that as random as possible. But we also may be targeting groups as well, okay? So, kind of a combination of things there. Obviously, we're getting more strength, but we also know we need to make sure we are being inclusive. And so we will be targeting populations just to make sure we get the feedback that we need from them. I kind of avoided that question, didn't I? Tom around, that's really clever, isn't it?
The last point on the process as we survey the climate. And then
Then we go again, and then the board decides what further actions. We'll have, at that point, we will also have recommendations as well. So we'll work with the board on further steps.
is the board set any goals or communicating to the community what they would like to see happen or anything like that? Collecting information, easy and then move forward like that. This is kind of collecting information. The surveys on the report they are finding out from the board's community goals or improving or
Respond to this, because my assumption is the board can dismiss this or accept it. So is the board planning to respond to the results and work to improve the school district?
As the board goes to go ahead with this needs assessment and then to see where it comes back.
And they've also contracted us to do the professional development, so actions will take place. And we'll definitely have actions after the Senate.
Is the goal to have a system put in place that will last indefinitely?
Yes, because we're going to be doing, part of the professional development is actually a train-the-trainer model. So we will be working with representatives from each of the schools. And in terms of the professional development part, we'll have 2 or 3 representatives from each school coming to these workshops or sessions that are PD that will be conducted. And they will be going back. So there will be teacher leaders, or they could be administrators, they'll be whomever the individual school decides. So even after we're no longer working with the district, in their respective schools, working with the teachers.
Here is going to be the diversity plan. Okay, that's what's going to drive things. So as we collect the data, process the data, make our recommendations, then we'll work with teachers, administrators, board members, students to actually write that plan, which will then have the goals and objectives, hopefully implement what we found out to make a difference in the kinds of phenomena we've seen in the slides.
This is a several-year process. So this is, actually, I think it goes next.
So, maybe I have a notes, I had a little bit of a thought, but I did not see a lot of social media announcements about this meeting or about Monday meeting. Going forward, I know we not have a timeline, but going forward, is there going to be a mechanism, like a way that those that are interested in going to the forums, want to be involved, can we like find these things out very easily?
Yeah, we actually did contact the media, and we did have a press release, and we did a public service announcement in English, Spanish, and Arabic. And we invited the media to come to the central office last week, and we plan on having monthly radio discussions on radio to talk about the process and what we have been doing and what we are doing, and updating the community from that aspect. So also, I believe people were sending around, I think the different web pages have been updated as well. So, but I don't do Facebook, so apparently it was on Facebook as well, so I don't know.
We also started a,
Like a Facebook page and blast
And make sure that there's going to be a sign-in sheet going around and illustrated around it. It's back there. And if you have an email address or a physical address, we'll send the handout to you. That plan is to give you tonight. So, but our goal is to be as transparent as possible, as accessible as possible, so that we really truly do the good work necessary to make a difference.
Will there be any assessing of hiring practices as it relates to educators, administrators, and cabinet administration in this district?
Yes. The plan definitely makes some recommendations. Yes.
I guess I would comment that, and many of you are aware, I'm an interim superintendent. They're like superintendent search. Sometime during the year, that will be at these focus groups as well. Typically, a superintendent search does include focus groups, community surveys, and a variety of other characteristics to make sure that the characteristics of your future leader matches the expectations of the community. So your timing is really good as far as you're talking about sustainable and focus. You've got a board that's very willing to act. You've got the ability to select a future superintendent. So timing would be really good.
Two points. The interim superintendent said that there's a process. And maybe that does occur. I have lived here for some time. I think the board picked the last superintendent. I don't know if there was a process, so I don't know if that's required. But it leads to my second question. So on this diversity plan, there's a board that there can be a new plan, or that there can be a dismissal of the plan. And I'm not shy to say that I have been a member of this community for some time. My faith is not necessarily great with the board or the district as it relates to many of the disparities that you pointed out, but I am optimistic. And that we can do better, but that doesn't mean that I ignore those disadvantages.
And obviously, we can't answer.
One, I want to know, is there an age range for the kids that's going to be assessed?
Yeah, the lowest grade will go down to is 5th grade.
And is there going to be, are there questions going to be?
They will be different than the high school survey, certainly different than the adults. So we do pay attention to vocabulary. So we'll try to make the questions as easy for them to comprehend and to answer accurately as possible.
And I also want to know, was curriculum looked at in anything? What they're actually studying, what they're actually...
Not in this particular study.
She asked if curriculum was being looked at, and the answer is no, not in this particular study. Yes.
I was just going to say, I do think that it'll come up. I think when you talk to high schoolers, again, for those of you that don't know, high school, also DeKalb High School graduate, so been in this town for my whole life pretty much. One of the things that you will hear students talk about is the lack of diversity present in both the liberal arts curriculum and the social studies curriculum. So I do think that even though it's not necessarily something that will be a focus, it will come up, and there are actually already some things in the works to address that.
So that, since it will come up in the focus groups and probably on the surveys, then we will write that into the report. And yes. Actually, that's something that I teach in my classes too. Yes, sir.
Will this data that you guys collect and a copy of the goals of the board be accessible to the parents so we can keep track of what's being done in accordance with what you guys gathered as far as your information goes? Like, and if so, how can we get that information?
It will be posted on our district website. Both the assessment and the goals will be on the website.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a few more slides, and then we'll continue the discussion. So I thought it would behoove us to explain why a needs assessment, and then why a diversity plan, why the professional development, and then why the follow-up survey, and then we'll go back to the community and ask you questions again. So why a needs assessment? As we know, as all the previous slides demonstrated, there are discrepancies, right? There are inequities in our city, in our school district. So a needs assessment will actually get at a deeper understanding of learning of the community climate, what's going on in our schools, how are people individually viewing themselves and each other. It also provides a voice. There's a reason parents is talking about voice. If people don't feel like they have a voice, they feel like they don't belong. So this is one way of actually conducting assessment, like getting the community and our students and our faculty and all their administrators, everybody in our learning community to have a voice. It also provides a nice baseline data from which we can move, and it will help us set priorities and determine criteria for the diversity plan, the solutions that we find in the diversity plan. That leads us, so once we do the needs assessment, we write the report, then we have a group of people who want to write a diversity plan. JQ and I will work with these people to go guide them in writing a diversity plan. And diversity plans range from 1 page to 15 pages. It totally depends on the group that we have working on the plan. And it totally depends on what the data from the needs assessment actually indicates. So diversity plan will do the goals that people are asking about. It will set the district in a direction so that all 11 schools are moving in the same direction. And it's not like in Milwaukee where if it's Tuesday, you have to, February 3rd, you have to be on this page in the textbook. It's not like that. It's general feelings, the climate. Everyone is working towards making things more equitable for everybody. So that the black students are not being suspended at a greater rate than the white students, or that the Asian students are not necessarily at a higher proportional rate than everybody else going into honors. It's making it so not equal, but equitable. The difference between equal and equity and equality, the difference is this. Think of a fence. And equal is if JQ, who is what, 5'11", 6 foot, and I'm 5'5". Yes, I'm a short guy. So if we have a 5'10" fence, equal would mean JQ and I both would get a step stool to stand on to look over the fence. Does he need it? No. Do I need it? Yes. Equitable would mean he doesn't need a step stool, so he wouldn't have one. He would just be looking over the fence. I would need that step stool to look over. I would be, whatever equitable in the classroom looks like, whatever the child is needing, receives. So when we're talking about equitable versus equality, we're really talking about equity. We want to make it so that everybody has equal access, but equitable opportunity to learn. And there's a distinction there. If that didn't make sense, I'll be more than happy to talk about it after. So anyway, the diversity plan will set us in a path, and it'll give us goals. And it's going to permeate basically all aspects of our school community. It's going to help us with the intergroup relations, and it will talk about curriculum change. It will talk about the curriculum. It will also lead us into what kind of professional development for the staff we need to be providing. And then that leads us into the professional development. There's only, according to Amy Crook, who has, I believe, left now, there's only about 30 teachers in all of District 428 that have what's called an ESL endorsement. And we showed you a slide probably a half hour ago about how many English learners are in our district now. And for our district to only have 30 teachers who have ESL endorsement is not good. I'll just lay it out there. And I'm not saying that just because I teach those classes. I don't need more students. That's not the issue. It's our students need teachers who know how to work with culturally and linguistically marginalized kids. That's the bottom line. So, thank you. So the professional development, we will be working with administrators, teachers, auxiliary staff. Everyone needs to understand how to work more effectively and efficiently with the culturally and linguistically marginalized students, and as well as all the majority populations as well. It's not just good teaching, it's actually advocacy. When teachers become advocates for their students, that is the difference. And getting an ESL endorsement really teaches you how to become an advocate for your students. And that's what we're really going to be working on. And then after the professional development has been going on for several months, we are going to be doing a follow-up survey and a randomized population from DeKalb community to see how, if at all, the climate has changed. When I was an undergrad at UW-Madison, one of my professors said to me, the hardest question you can ask your students is, at the end of class, did you learn anything today? Did you get anything out of my class? It's the hardest question, because you don't know if you have your plan, you have your agenda for the day, and you feel that you taught something, but you don't know if your students really learned something. Well, the hardest question, the hardest part of this whole process for JQ and me is going to be sending out the survey and seeing if all the professional development that we will be doing actually makes a difference. That will be the absolute hardest thing, because then that tells us we didn't do anything or we did do something. So, did you have a question?
I don't know if you're all what you're saying, I guess I wanted to ask this question. So the district happens in the context of the community, and we have great teachers in DeKalb.
Absolutely.
One concern I have is when there's community struggles, challenges, it's left the teachers to ameliorate real issues. What is there a process going on within the community, within the town that parallel this, or that will be supportive of this process so that teachers are not being, I realize that you're saying professional development, but there's a heck of a lot more teachers than there are administrative board members. So
Yeah.
they're the front line, and we need the community to know what's going on in the process as well.
There's an old African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child. And we really subscribe to that. We really believe it takes a community to center a child to make sure it gets the best educational opportunity that it has. And so that's going to be undergirding everything that we do, is to try to ensure that the community, okay, the schools, parents, teachers, students, are working in harmony together for the best ends of that student. Okay? So we're going to try to be as student-centered as possible. But you're absolutely right. It takes a community to really truly educate a child. And especially in this time that we're in. Nobody can do it by themselves. Schools can't do it by themselves. Teachers can't do it by themselves. Parents can't do it by themselves. It takes everybody working together. And so we're hoping this becomes part of that cohesion that allows that phenomenon to take place.
So, John Ray is the mayor. Mr. Ray is the mayor of DeKalb, and the question that we'll ask is, we're going to be working with the school district, but in order to, there are issues in our community as well that influence the school. Are there any processes in place right now that the city itself is working on to work with the community as a whole, at large, for the same issues that we're working on in the schools?
In the FY17 operating budget for the city, we do have a cultural competency component to work with city staff. We're in the process of focusing that cultural competency component within budget reductions that are currently in process. My goal is to at least initiate the cultural competency initiative with the level of staff that won't involve overtime pay, which becomes a significant budget line item. That overtime pay, my goal would be to see that addressed mid-year, which would require a supermajority vote of city council to modify the budget at that point. But if mid-year revenues are in a position that we could fund that additional overtime for competency, cultural competency training, my goal would be to see that implemented mid-year. If not, it would be worked into the FY18 budget. The current strategic plan that is looking 10 years into the future has an inclusivity component. There's a vision for inclusivity in that strategic plan. And within that is diversity training, diversity collaboration with other community groups, all of which isn't specifically defined at this point, but we would be involving that. It's in the goals and actions. So working with the school district, with other community groups on that cultural competency and diversity awareness is part of the visioning that the city has in place.
Thank you. So the follow-up survey will get at if whether or not the actions we've taken make a difference. Have made a difference. And then, so now we're turning to you. What is the community goal? And basically we have two questions, or one question for you is what questions, and all of you have index cards, what questions do we need to be asking to find out what's going on in the DeKalb School District? So now is the time that we'll start reading your questions from the index cards. We can just read them, or we're just collecting it. We're not going to be discussing it. Oh. Okay. We will be collecting your questions now, and then we will answer any other questions orally, and then we'll call it an evening. Because otherwise, I think we can. It's already we'll get pretty late. So we will collect your questions when they are ready.
I don't know if you may know about insures. They're like outdoor therapy for youth and that can be a solution for schools that if you find that may be issues that you're saying. The teachers have to deal with so many other things that there is that may be an outlet for some teachers as well as families that may be struggling with some things with their teams or their children, and they tend to go through their difficulties through outdoor activities. So that may be a good solution. And we've been trying to reach out to some of the schools to let them know about insurance and what they do. But that can be enough solution for the teachers as well as parents.
I do want to say one thing. I got an email today from a friend of mine from another school district. And he got an email, he's an assistant superintendent of a school. And he received an email from one of his principals. And the principal said, in just this week, there were some boys playing out in the snow during recess, and they started building a wall of snow, yelling, "Keep the Mexicans out." Then, in the same school, another sixth grader was in the lunchroom taking all the kids' backpacks and building a wall also, yelling, "We need to keep the Mexicans out." So, am I saying this is happening in DeKalb? No, I'm not saying that. It's a neighboring school district that this happened in. But these types of issues, the Southern Poverty Law Center just came up with a study saying 2,500 incidences of discrimination have happened since the election. 2,500 in schools. In our society, 900 outside of schools. Incidences of discrimination have happened since the election. So, I'm not getting political. I'm not going there. What I am saying, however, is things are happening in our schools that shouldn't be. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of misunderstanding, there's a lot of misinformation, and there is a lot of angst. There's the Lurie Children's Community Hospital in Chicago. 200% increase in the suicide hotline by dreamers. You know, the kids who were brought here at a young age with parents who are undocumented, and they are undocumented. 200% increase in the suicide hotline. They had to call all the immediate surrounding areas, school districts, as an emergency, to have an emergency meeting. So things are happening in our society that are indeed trickling down into our schools. So these, by writing a diversity plan, by doing a needs assessment and then writing the diversity plan, and then doing the professional development, teaching teachers, and administrators how to work with these issues in our classrooms is an absolute must.
I have a question. Is there going to be any kind of mental health assistance later on? Because my suspicion is that as people go into professional development, they may have to face things about themselves. And, you know, I work with the person who has care for dogs, and doing fine this week. That seems to be a winning idea. And I don't know what that means in terms of budget, but I do think, and this is particular to white people, I think it's uncomfortable to realize that perhaps I do have some biases that I was not conscious of, or I have some issues that I was not aware of. And I don't eliminate people of color, but I do think people of color are challenged daily, regularly to confront those issues as they walk through life. That's my experience race. So that's my question. I don't know if you are embedded that in the process, or if you can consider that. And I also think it's an added burden. I'm a counselor by training, let me say that's my bias. I also think it's an added burden to put that on staff who are mental health professionals to work with staff in addition to students while trying to work through their own position or station.
Again, as I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I have seen professional development that leaves people injured, okay, that leads them wrong. And that's not the kind of work that I do, that I work with James, that's not the kind of work that he does. So when we challenge, when we encourage people to create new paradigms and develop a broader conscious, absolutely, cultural competence and responsibility. Not just cultural competence, but responsibility. And in order to get that second part, you have to make sure that you do the kinds of debriefing, the kinds of resolution training, a workshop, that you don't need people started. Instead, what you do is build capacity for them to be the good people that they inherently are. Okay, and I do believe that very fiber of my body. Okay, but that requires obviously an effort, and the board and the superintendent, we're going to be asking folks to make that effort, to be as human as they can. And to agree with James, there's hard times coming. Okay, and so we have to be prepared for that, develop the contingencies for that, and it's time to stand tall. So, and to be united. And I do believe that we have real possibilities for this effort to make sure that happens.
There was a DeKalb that participated in about 16 hours of social justice training with us here tonight. And it was difficult. There was a lot of self-reflection that there should be. And thinking about who you are and how you move forward and what you bring to the table. And if our training or trainings that occur are anything like that, it can really move in a really powerful direction. Because I think, from my experience of 18 years here, in our diversity training, I've talked about others, but we have not had a conversation. And I think that's a power.
To address that, I have several people in here who have been my students. And the first thing that I do is the self. How do I position others? How does society position me? Who am I? You know, it takes several weeks to go through this process. And one rule that I always have is the safety versus comfort. So I want you to feel safe. I like the analogy of, I had a student when I was teaching at Western, his name was Adam. And Adam said, oh, so you mean, Dr. Cohen, you mean like it's like a roller coaster? I said, yes, exactly. You're strapped in, you think you're safe. You're safe. You're strapped in, you're not gonna go flying off the roller coaster, but you're on it for those endorphins. You're on it, you feel very uncomfortable. And that's what this process is gonna be. The district is, you're gonna be seeing, people are gonna be seeing things of themselves that they didn't know existed, and it is painful. It's very, very uncomfortable. But if we have safe environments, where safe learning environments, then we'll be successful. But we have to go through this process as a learning community. Otherwise, we're just gonna be spinning our wheels, and people are gonna be getting offended all the time everywhere. So, Tom, you got it. Yeah, no problem.
I agree with you talking about. I did exactly what you said. I'm talking about teachers. We're talking about teachers being more socially competent, aware in classroom. It made me think about when I was in high school, because the curriculum wasn't so rigid that, and I was the only teacher that taught the class. I had the freedom that if the students had a problem, or I saw, or someone said something that was a teachable moment, I made it a teachable moment. But I do that, or I did that at the cost of class time. I thought it was necessary, but I just want to keep in mind that everything doesn't have a cost. And the cost, in that case, is going to be instructional time. And we have those moments, and a lot of people will shy away from those moments. And some people need to shy away because they're not competent to deal with them. But others that may go through their professional development and can, still may fear or shy away from doing it just at the cost of time.
So the fear, so the fear that you're talking about is absolutely legitimate and real. And we're going to be involving the school administrators in the process of selecting the school leaders, the people who are going to be going to the train-the-trainer workshops. So, and we actually have a criteria of the leader of the school, the teacher leaders who will be participating in the train-the-trainer model workshops, so that they don't have the fear that a non-tenured faculty member would have. They're a veteran, they've been around for a while, we have this long list of criteria that says, this is the kind of person we want, so that they can go back, not to be fearless, but to be emboldened with the support of the administration of that school building, so that they can make a difference with the teachers in that school. You're talking specifically about curriculum and not being able to teach all the content. You're right, but if you really think back from the best teachers you had when you were in high school, you don't remember what they taught you. You remember the relationship you had with them. And that kind of thing, and the social emotional skills that they taught you. So that's really, ultimately, one of the board members, when we were presenting at the board meeting several months ago, asked, well, how will this improve? Conducting a needs assessment and doing all these things, how is that going to make our district better? There's a reason that the state of Illinois has social and emotional standards. We are human beings, and we are human beings first, and then learners second. And if we're not addressing our human needs, the kids are no one's going to learn anything. And the teachers are going to be miserable. So we have to be working on the climate. We have to. The safety issues, right? Do I feel safe to teach? Do I feel safe to learn? Lowering that affective filter, that wall. So we have to be thinking on the social emotional skills level before we can do almost anything else. I saw some hands over here. Yeah.
I think one of my questions, or one of the things that I think that we actually need to consider is how we can also work directly with the students. Because I know that the teachers are going to get professional development, but I don't want to leave the students behind. You know, if this is a 2-year process, we will graduate kids that are going to go off in the real world. And I want them to leave our district having something valuable, something that they can go and interact in the diverse world that they're going to call their workplace. So I think that perhaps if we can also be looking at what our students need and also then ways to get that information to them, even if the teacher isn't ready to get it to them yet, finding some way to be able to impact our students in a positive way. One of the conversations that I regularly have with students in my current position and in prior years as a teacher is just talking about the differences between your home culture and the school culture. Talking about the ability to be, you know, I always use the example that at a family event, if you're not yelling over somebody at my family event, you're not going to be heard. But that within the school building, we have a different expectation. And kids don't always come in knowing those things. And so we get kids in trouble for something that is, that again, is inside their own culture. And so that ability to take a moment and really make teaching those things a part of what we do, I think is going to be a very important part of what we do, and sooner rather than later.
Thank you.
I'm sort of playing devil's advocate, but he identified sooner rather than later. Is there anything about the needs assessment that's going to change how you can approach professional development? And should the professional development start sooner?
Yeah, it's going to directly impact the professional area. And that again will come out of what we learned from the various communities we surveyed and we interviewed. And then in the development of the diversity plan, that will drive the professional development. So they are going to be interconnected together.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep talking, but I did want to just say that we are already in the process of the social justice league, as we call ourselves, group, we have moved forward in our monthly or staff meetings, already doing small things to introduce to the teachers. So for example, this month, we covered already some concepts of implicit bias. So there are some small things that just anybody would know, that you don't necessarily need the data to say, hey, we really need to focus here, but just things that anybody would need to know in order to become more culturally competent. So those are things that we are already doing monthly.
I wanted to know what kind of happened with the committee that we were doing as of last year. What happened with that data? Did anything come from that?
Are you referring to the multicultural?
Yeah.
Oh, with Katrina Caldwell? That one? Is that
Multicultural.
That was just, this last year. That we're supposed to pay. I'm sorry.
It was multicultural committee, and it was jointly headed by Joe and our former superintendent. And I'm trying to remember all the subcommittees because I don't get professional development, curriculum, retention and recruitment. What were some of the other? Special ed. Disciplinary. Yeah, exactly. Same.
A lot of that information, we were just learning as we were starting last year, so what came?
That's a school board question.
The high school has
Yeah, we got that, but you all know that. That's what committee, that's that, I think that's what it's asking.
Yeah, that's what it's not a school committee. It's a committee on the.
Actually, it was on the district page, it's a district committee. Yeah, it's not a community committee, it's a district committee.
I wasn't on the committee, so I can't speak to that.
No, we know it,
I can speak to it. I believe, Howard, why don't you give a report on a semi-regular basis to the school board of what we were doing? Okay. All right. You didn't receive any of that information?
No, Howard was.
Oh, so you didn't know we were meeting?
I'm not sure why, yeah, I know.
Oh, I don't know why, I sent a letter out to the group, when I resigned as facilitator of the group. I don't know what happened after that.
The district never continued the meetings of the committee. And I think, the superintendent has some challenges, the former superintendent.
Right.
So I think we thought that perhaps, give it some time and it will subside. And I think that's a fair question. I'm surprised I didn't know it was a district committee. It used to be on that page, listed as a district.
That it was a community with the district.
Well, prior to him, Briscoe was on that committee. Prior to him, when I called her back to Mr. Alice.
But still, what happened to the guy? That's all I'm asking. What happened?
The high school
What we're doing out now, some of that was what we were in for. I was just asking what kind of happened with all that. We were meeting for over a year, maybe?
Yeah.
What happened with any of this?
So I guess we can try to find out where that data is and see what we can do. Yeah, absolutely.
I know there's Andrew Borla who's working, and Christy Meyer, Jim Vincent, Vernon.
Jim was the president, they tried out.
Jim Mormon.
Jim Mormon.
Right.
Janet Cooper.
Jenny and I both were on it, but she was involved in it and I was involved in the question about it. But I think the dad you're talking about, I think the people that we need to reach out to would be Andrea, Christy Meyer, and
Tim?
Tim, thank you, and Tim, yeah, those three.
Joe, did that committee start initially after the start?
That committee started in March of, we started in March of 15.
Okay.
So the the original multicultural committee came out of this country report, which was at least 12, 15 years ago.
So we definitely
the multicultural community has been active and inactive over the last 15.
Right.
28 years ago, even before, well, the start community goal was 2005, right? 2005.
Yeah.
The Stars Group, I think, was the focus report. I think what happened, to my knowledge, is that there have been several incidents to occur in the community with regard to the district and what has happened in the school. And so the multicultural committee became a response to kind of address those concerns and preempt future concerns by bringing a variety of voices to the table. The most recent school district webpage doesn't list it, and I don't know how you go back, I'm not a technical expert, but somebody who can go back, you can see it, and I was a part of those plans in 2000, so it was active then. And Derek Smith right now is even more than that in terms of the origins, the history, the whys. And it has, Joe's correct, it has been in and out of activeness in terms of responding to events related to the community because of interracial conflicts and challenges too.
Well, it's obvious we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to be about the business of doing that. And we really do appreciate everyone coming out this evening. This is just the kind of input that we need to be able to go forward. Still an opportunity to fill out your cards if you need additional ones. I think there's still some available. So we're going to get busy. We still have another community meeting that will be on Monday at 6 o'clock in the library. So we're going to continue our efforts to do the very best job that we can do. So
City library, correct?
So yes. Yes. So thank you again for coming out this evening. Thank you for your input. I do want to meet with you as soon as we finish it.
Absolutely. I was wondering if one of the representatives from the county board could stick around for the conversation too, about the situation happening multiple with my daughter. So we can probably get some resolution, because you guys are just survey people, right? And I was somebody to actually do something about something.
School board members are true.
How are you at
Yes. Yes. So once again, so please, please make sure that you turn your cards in and travel home safely. None of the weapons cold out there.